Since the weapon balance update landed in late January, we've all been getting used to the new settings of various different weapons. Today, I'm going to highlight 7 of those weapons that are now fully worth your attention. Most of these are base game weapons that certain players may have moved on from, but they are now much more competitive, and there's a couple of DLC weapons in there as well that got significant boosts. Hopefully this video can show you guys that there are plenty of weapons in Battlefield 1 that are now much better than what they used to be. Weapon number 1 on the list, we're starting with the Assault class and the MP18 SMG. This is one of the starter weapons in Battlefield 1, and I'm sure most of you will have used it at some point in the past. Now, after the update, this SMG got a big boost to bring it in line with others like the Ribeiros and the Cei-Rigotti, but it's its hipfire accuracy that really got me interested. The trench variant, that features increased hipfire accuracy, and this now at close range is a deadly weapon to use. The higher damage per shot at close range makes the MP18 Trench an extremely attractive choice, but the optical variant also got some benefits. The optical features increased accuracy when aiming down sights, so you get a little bit more range out of your SMG. Again, with the increased damage here, you'll find combating enemies out to 30 meters or so far more enjoyable than you did before. Go back to the starter weapon, the MP18, and give it another go and see what you think. Next up is the Huot Auto from the support class. Now, this weapon never really did get that much attention before the major update, and I'm quite happy that DICE gave it the buff that it got. There is a subsection of the community that really likes using the Huot Auto. I'm looking at you, Dan Minigun, and I'm really excited to say that this weapon is now far better than what it used to be. After the patch, the Huot is now perhaps one of the most controllable light machine guns that you can pick from, with low recoil and low spread per shot. Doing 26.5 damage at close range, that's a 4-shot kill now, out to a minimum damage of 20 at long range, that makes it a 5-shot kill. The Huot has been released from its 7 bullet to kill shackles that it had before the patch. It kind of felt like you were simply tickling the enemy more than you were actually doing damage. At range, the Huot low weight is now much more effective with such low recoil setup on it. 0.28 vertically and 0.14 horizontally, you should be able to easily dispatch enemies now. It does still fall behind other light machine guns in terms of its ammo capacity, just 26 rounds to be fired before reloading, but with a low rate of fire of just 475 rounds a minute, you should find that less bullets start flying all over the place, and more of them start hitting the target. Now, the optical variant will give you even better accuracy and controllability potential at range. It's got decreased horizontal recoil and greater aiming down sight accuracy. So really, both variants are now great options if you want to quickly dispatch enemies. Weapon number 3, a DLC weapon, is the Trench Carbine. Just before the weapon patch came in, this came out with the Turning Tides DLC. Now, this was a love it or hate it weapon, and honestly, I wasn't sure that I wanted to commit time to it. It did have good hipfire accuracy and extended range abilities over other assault weapons because of its low recoil, but because it couldn't fire as fast or deal its damage as fast as other automatic SMGs and carbines, I think a lot of players saw it as a bit of a dud weapon. After the patch, however, its effectiveness at both close and medium range has been vastly improved. A new maximum damage of 34.7 at close range gives the Trench Carbine a 3-shot kill potential, and that is a huge game changer. No other assault SMG can do that. At mid-range as well, its manageable recoil allows it to compete with other assault-wielding players, but anything beyond 30 meters or so, and you're going to need more than double the bullets to kill a player than what you need at close range. You're going to need 7 bullets to kill a player outside 30 meters or so. However, I think the Trench Carbine now lives up to its name. It's perfect for getting into the trenches, or indeed any close quarters situation, and being competitive and powerful. Its hipfire stats make it a great breaching weapon, running into a room and mopping up a couple of enemies nice and quickly. Weapon number 4 in the list, another support weapon, the Lewis gun. Now this was another one of those weapons that before the patch just took an absolute age to kill players at long range. It actually tied in with the Huot and a couple of others at 7 bullets to kill. Now, however, the Lewis gun will drop enemies at close range in 4 bullets and at long range in 5 bullets, making it a much more attractive option. Now, the reason I've added it into this list is more to do with the low weight variant. It has a 47 round magazine that's just about the right size to push the Lewis gun into the mix with other lighter light machine guns, weapons like the BAR for example, with a manageable recoil pattern, controllable spread, and a nice steady rate of fire. You'll be landing more shots than you miss with the Lewis gun now. It does have slightly more horizontal recoil and a slower ADS time after the patch, but when operating at mid-range, which is where you're going to be using this gun most of the time, these points can easily be taken into account. You can use cover and things like that to really help you. On top of that though, the Lewis gun, to me at least, is one of the more striking weapons in Battlefield 1, and it has some really nice looking weapon skins. All the more reason to give it a try again if you've not used it in a while. If you've unlocked the rattlesnake skin, that thing is garishly beautiful. The next weapon that you should go back and try again is the Cei-Rigotti. This is from the medic class, and more specifically, I want to talk about the trench variant here. This was one of the original fully automatic medic rifles that players could choose from, and for a while it was my go-to medic rifle for close to mid-range combat. And that was until the Fedorov blew it out of the water with its assault rifle-like features. Well, now the Cei-Rigotti is well and truly back. With a range-extended damage model and reduced spread increase per shot, the Cei-Rigotti is now able to compete directly with SMGs at close range. It's going to give you some extra firepower at mid-range and even increase your chance of taking down an enemy at long range. The reduced spread increase per shot means you can keep the trench variant in fully automatic fire at its maximum rate of fire for longer before the spread becomes intolerable. And of course, with just 10 rounds in the magazine, it's unlikely you're going to reach a point where the spread does become intolerable. If you don't have access to the DLC weapons, then the Cei-Rigotti should be your go-to medic rifle if you want that fully automatic fire experience. The next weapon that you should totally revisit is the Selbstlader 1906. This is the medic level 10 weapon that everybody wrote off before the patch as a bad weapon, and it's the weapon that people are still convinced is rubbish after the patch. I happen to think differently, and here's why. Its low ammo capacity is likely the reason that people aren't too fond of it, but really it's a skill weapon for people who want something that is extremely accurate and are willing to trade ammo for that. After the patch, the Selbstlader 1906 has simply become an even better version of itself. The 50% reduction of its spread increase per shot makes it even more accurate than it was before, and it's had its damage at range extended, allowing it to reach further and deal the damage that you need to kill players with. Its relatively high rate of fire allows the spread increase per shot reduction to come into play again, because at close to mid-range, with it being a semi-automatic rifle, you need to fire those shots off quite fast. You are no longer penalised as much for spamming the weapon if you need to, and that's a big deal for a weapon that is supposed to be used at mid to long range. Sometimes you get surprised at close range and you do need to spam. Well, now it's okay to do that with the 1906. That high rate of fire also gives you the one-up on scout players at long range. If you're using the sniper variant, you have the ability to land more shots on them more accurately than they can land on you. It's basically the medic class's counter-sniper rifle now. The 5-round magazine capacity may still be a big off-put for most players out there, but for a medic who wants long-range effectiveness, you should easily be able to take down at least one player before needing to reload. And lastly, I'm going to highlight the Autoloading 8.35 variants, because they've become more versatile and powerful since the patch dropped. Now, before the patch, they favoured a player who was accurate and quick to lay down fire at close to medium range, and the gun rewarded you with a high rate of fire and high damage output that could drop players in 3 shots. At longer ranges, you needed 4 shots. With only 5 rounds in the magazines, you could say that the rifles were built for skilled players to take advantage of. After the patch, DICE has increased the rifle's desirability and versatility further by increasing the range at which it can drop enemies in 3 shots to 70 meters, and reduced its spread increase per shot by 50%, making it even more accurate and deadly than it was before. You're still limited to 5 rounds in the internal magazine, but now you have more range at which the 3-shot kill meta is active. Chuck in a headshot, and it's only a 2-shot kill. Like the Selbstlader 1906, you are sacrificing ammo capacity for damage and accuracy, and that will only appeal to a certain number of players, but the rifle does now feel a lot more effective in general. And so, there you are, 7 guns you should revisit after the weapon balance update for Battlefield 1. Now, I chose not to mention the RSC 1917 or the Ribeiro's Carbine in this video because I'm sure you're all aware of how good those weapons are now, and they're DLC weapons, so not everyone has access to them. I chose instead to highlight some of the more underappreciated weapons in the game, and the majority of those are base game weapons as well. Just making the point that DICE didn't implement this weapon balance patch to buff DLC weapons and make the game pay to win. Some people are hell-bent on spewing that argument when, as you can see from the list I've compiled today, that's just simply not true. Thank you very much for watching today. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments section, and I'll be down there reading as many as I can. But until next time, my name is Westie, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.